Hey, I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm the host of the Best of Us Investors YouTube channel. I've been doing this since November of 2019. I'm a retired financial advisor. I had built one of the largest financial planning practices in the United States and sold it in '05. I've been doing this channel, as I say, since 2019, and my objectives are threefold. One is to educate my viewers to make good investment decisions. My investment decisions basically are wrapped around my premise that I want to invest in companies that are going to change the way I live. Number two is to keep more of what you make by understanding the tax code and positioning your assets correctly. And number three is to build family wealth. Family wealth, in my mind, is the maximum that the government will allow me to pass to my heirs, and that's $24 million. So that's my objective, number three. As I said, my investment strategy is to invest in companies that are going to change the way I live. This weekend, I met Emma, my granddaughter's boyfriend, Connor, and Connor was relating to me the story of his grandfather. His grandfather worked for a living, and then in his early 60s, he was forced to retire because he had tremors. He got to the point where he couldn't feed himself. He couldn't do many functions that required the use of his hands, and you can imagine what that might take in. So he basically became homebound with tremors. And then Florida passed the medical marijuana bill, medical cannabis, and that gave him a license that he could actually get CVS oil and medical cannabis. And that, as a result, stopped his tremors and put him back to work. I realized that the medical cannabis is something that is going to change the way we live, and I needed to look into it deeper. What I discovered is that 29 states in the United States allow for medical cannabis, but at the same time, they all have different rules and different regulations, so there is really no continuity within the medical cannabis world within the United States. So I couldn't find anybody that I really felt comfortable investing in because, again, it's all fragmented, and somebody's going to have to bring these companies together, and the federal government has to pass a law that will allow it. Now, we're way behind many countries in the world who do allow a medical cannabis. I also discovered the holy land of cannabis is Israel. Israel has been working, in fact, they have a very advanced community within that biotech industry, and at some level, medical cannabis falls into that category. They've been working on it, as I say, since 1973, and have become the world's best at medical cannabis. They have a company that is actually run by one of their past, I guess they call him a premier over there. No, I don't think so. But one of the best, the past heads of state of Israel became a part of this company, and it is totally vertically integrated. That is to say, they control it from seed to distribution. And the interesting thing is they are anticipating next year, 2021, to go on to the NASDAQ exchange. So this is where my focus has changed. If, again, I want to be a part of, owner of a company that is going to change the way I live, I think medical cannabis, and I think this Israeli company that's going to go on the NASDAQ exchange is where I want to put my investment. Now, there are some hooks into it, and that is that Israel has said they cannot actually export any of their medical cannabis until the needs of the Israeli people are totally taken care of. They anticipate that this year they will manufacture 100 tons, that's right, 100 tons of production and distribution to the Israeli population. That being done at the end of 2020, Israeli has sanctioned that they can then start shipping outside outside of Israel, and they have targeted 10 countries which they will be shipping to. I doubt if the U.S. is one of them because, again, the U.S. has not come to any understanding within the states as to how it will be regulated, how it will be distributed. So I see this as once that the U.S. gets their act together, this company is going to be the major producer of medical cannabis, not only in Israel, but all throughout the world. And I want to own part of it. And I'm going to have the opportunity to buy into its IPO shortly after the first of the year. So you're asking yourself right now, what is the name of that company? Well, I'll tell you some of the companies it's not. Here in the United States, we have companies like Tilray, Vertical Wellness, Crush Company, Coronis Group. These are all fragmented companies that some do growing, some do processing, some do retail. The other issue we have in the United States, because it is not sanctioned by the federal government, they can't deposit their money in normal bank accounts because banks are regulated by the federal government. So there's a lot of issues there. So let's skip forward and say, who is it that is going to be the company that is going to be the leader in the world for medical cannabis and is going to help people who, like this gentleman, has tremors, people who have cancer, people who are looking for relief from radiation, just a numerous numbers. And I'm aware of this as I'm a member of the baby boomer generation, and this is going to be a great relief as we age. The name of the company from Israel is Univo, Univo Pharmaceuticals. It trades under the ticker of UNVO on the Israeli exchange. You can see it's not a cheap stock, but again, they're pricing it based on a different currency. But this is one I want to watch, and I want to be aware of how I can get into it. So I'm going to reach out to you and say, look, let's as a tribe, let's as a community who are trying to make good investment decisions, let's gather information on the medical cannabis world, and let's share that information. How do we share that information? We go to my website, Best of Us Investors here, and you sign up. You give me your name and your email address, and I will send you my morning letter. I send a letter every morning that the stock market is open, and in that letter you're going to find a link to our Discord. On the Discord, we're going to have a section dedicated strictly to medical cannabis, and I want you to do your research, and I want you to share it with me. I want you to share it with the tribe. So if and when this Univo Pharmaceuticals, UNIVO, becomes available, we know about it, and we know ways that maybe we can get into it before the IPO. So that's my take today. That's my cue to you today as to how to become a better investor, how to make better investment decisions. The key is to get out in front of this. This is a company that will be a 10x, 100x. This could change your life, just as the medical cannabis is going to change other people's lives. So that's Best of Us Investors. That's Kerry Grinkmeyer. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so that you know when I put out good videos like this that are going to help you create family wealth.